Good evening, welcome all of you. So, this evening we are going to discuss the topic Thy unknown lover waits for thee in the unknown. Thy unknown lover waits for thee in the unknown. So, this is the topic of discussion in this process of Savitri summarization. Really, this is the session for Savitri summarization. Here we are going to take the Book 4, Canto 3, The Call to the Quest. The topic for discussion will be on Thy unknown lover, wait for thee in the unknown. So we are going to take it in a brief, it will be a gist of this canto. So here we are going to read few lines from Sri Aurobindo, original Savitri. A morn that seemed a new creation's front. A morn that seemed a new creation's front, bringing a greater sunlight, a happier skies. So just imagine everything has been changed, something new is going to happen, and that was a great morning, of course. Came burdened with beauty, moved and strange. Came burdened with beauty, with a beauty moved and strange. And out of the changeless origin of things, just imagine an ancient longing struck again new roots. Then air drank deep of unfulfilled desire. Then the high trees trembled with a wandering wind. That is a beautiful comparison. You can find an image. The high trees trembled with a wandering wind, like souls that quiver at the approach of joy. Souls that quiver with the approach of joy. Then we can find King Ashwapati listened through the ray. King Ashwapati of Madra, he is actually listening. King Ashwapati listened through the ray to other sounds than meet the sense-formed ear. Sense-formed ear, it is hearing something great, something new. So then we can go another way. Art's wordless hymn to the ineffable. Art's wordless hymn to the ineffable arose from the silent heart of the cosmic void. He heard the voice repressed of unborn powers. He heard the voice repressed of unborn power, murmuring behind the luminous bars of time. A word that lived from the far sky of thought, a word that lived from the far sky of thought, admitted by the cowled receiving scribe. Beautiful. Then we can find the glorious lines, golden definition, golden clarification, explanations from Sri Aurobindo. What is the voice really it is coming? O force compelled, fate driven, earth-born race, O petty adventurers in an infinity world, and prisoners of a dwarf humanity. This was the great sound being heard to the ear of Ashwapati. How long will you trade the circling tracks of mind around your little self and petty things? This is very common and usual with the normal beings, but actually the voice is there. You have to do something more. You have to listen something else, but not for a changeless change where you meant, not for the vain repetition where you built your mission, your vision, your arrival. Everything is different. It bears a purpose. Not for a vain repetition where you built. Out of the immortal substance you were made, or not ordinarily those people who have been moving here with the ordinary tracks of mind. Out of the immortal substance where you made, your actions can be swift revealing steps. Your life, a changeful mood for growing gods, a seer, a strong creator is within. That is what the great inspiration, and it is being carried by the word. The immaculate grandeur broods upon your ways. Almighty powers are sought in nature's self. A greater destiny waits you in the front. A greater destiny waits you in the front. That is what the talk. It is coming. Again, we can find that glorious things. He who now stares at the world with ignorant eyes, hardly from the inconscience night aroused. that look at images and not at truth can fill those orbs with an immortal sight. So everything actually it seems clumsy, seems unseen like this. Yet shall the Godhead grow within your hearts. Everything seems clumsy, everything is hidden, He is inside you, seems passive, it is hidden, concealed, sinks. Yet shall awake into the Spirit's air and feel the breaking walls of mortal mind and hear the message which left life's heart dumb, and look through nature with sun-gazing lids, because it is within you. It is concealed, hidden. It has to come out, and you will find the greater light and blows your conscience at the eternal's gate. Then, share in the course, to toss the mighty mother stark away and meet the omniscient in this house of place and make up life the million bodied one. The earth you tread is a border screened from heaven. The earth you tread, beautiful quotation. The earth you tread is a border screened from heaven. The life you lead conceals the light you are. Everything is have been concealed, hidden from you. You tread wherever your path goes. That is not the final step, because a lot of ways, a lot of things you have to go, and the things are there in a very glorious, gorgeous manner. Then we can find a goddess in a net of transient earth. A goddess in a net of transience caught, shell-bound in the pastures of death, she seems dreams of life. Then we can find, but dim in human hearts the ascending fire. This is the true things that has been described, told, and it is heard. But dim in human hearts the ascending fire, the invisible grandeur sits on earth, unworshipped they are. The invisible grandeur sits unworshipped there. Man sees the highest in a limiting form or looks upon a person, hears a name. Then he turns for little gains to ignorant powers. For little gains he is turning to ignorant powers, or kindle his altar lights to a demon face, totally misled, confused. That's what it is there. He loves the ignorance fathering his pain. Ignorance fathering his pain, that ignorance is loved by man. Then he has lost the inner voice that led his thoughts. Inner voice that is leading the thoughts is lost. Then you can see, in vain is the unending line of seers. In vain, the unending line of seers. The sages ponder in unsubstantial light. The poets lend their voice to the outward dims. Everything is superficial, outward, on the surface. Nothing is turning within. You can't see. A homeless fire inspires the prophet tongues. Heaven's flaming lights descend and back return. The luminous eye approaches and retires. Everything is coming and going back, returning back, because not able to be received by this earthly circumstance. Eternity speaks, none understands its word. Fate is unwilling and the abyss denies. Then the inconscient's mindless water block all dawn. What is done is blocked by the inconscient's mindless water. Only a little lifted is mind's screen. Again, the best description, among the best in Savitri you can find. The wise who know see but one half of truth. The strong climb hardly to a low peaked height. The hearts that earn are given 1 hour to love. His tale half told falters the secret bird. The gods are still too few in mortal forms. The gods are still too few in mortal forms. That is the voice have been asked. It has been listened by Ashwapati's sense-bound ear. So let us go a little bit into the summarization. We'll see in brief about the summarization. That is a beautiful one. And Sri Aurobindo quotes it here. On a bright happy morning, when the air is full of longing and expectation, morning is happy and bright. Then Ashwapati hears the subtle voice of unborn powers. Subtle voice of unborn powers is heard by Ashwapati. O men, creatures of fate, that thou art the present, thou art the creatures of present at present, creatures of the fate at present. You are not meant to be always circling in the petty rounds of your life, of yourself, round and around and around. You have, it is not the not for that one you are circling, that is not meant for you. You have something, some greater bigger role to do, and you have got the better vision to fulfill, greater dream to fulfill. You are made of immortal substance and the mighty powers that shut in your nature's cells. A greater destiny awaits thee. If only you will, if will, only we will, you can acquire a truth sight, exceed your mortal mind, and grow into your Godhead. That is what you are not yet, but you have to, if you have to little exceed your mortal mind. Then there are other realms of existence than the earth you trade, where you are trading, excluding, bearing these low, so many bright lives are there you can trade. There is a light behind your life, a light behind your life. Immortal powers await to embody themselves in you. The earth hopes and aspires for this change, but fire still burns dim in human hearts. That psychic fires here in the course, that is burning, but actually too dim. It has to burn, and there is a possibility. Definitely, you have to feel the possibility. See in your naked eyes. Men are still in love with their ignorance. They are ignorance, and they love it lightly. Heaven's lights descend, but they are obliged to return. Heaven's light descend, but they are obliged to return in the face of the denial and obstruction by the inconscient. Inconscient is denying, so this light is, of course, returning back. So the voice is here, and as if in an answer from the gods, Savitri comes to Ashwapati in all her revealing beauty and splendor. So that will be with this. Ashwapati has to speak a very few golden lines, bright lines. Ashwapati's physical sense withdraws and he sees behind outer form of Savitri, the great and unknown spirit born in as his child. As his child Savitri is born, who is not the ordinary soul, is something great has been born. Something great and unknown spirit born as his child. That's what he feels after hearing the gorgeous words and inspiring words. Moved from unseen heights, he speaks to her. Let us quote few lines, then we'll try to summarize it in our lines. But actually, before that summarization, let us try to read few lines from the original writings, how Sri Aurobindo describes the thing, scenario. And the Sri Aurobindo quotes here beautifully: a pilgrim hand lifts in an invisible shrine. He saw through depths that reinterpret all, limited not now by the dull body's eyes, new found through an arc of clear discovery. His vision is expanded, he is thinking something great. Then a deeper nature self-revealing sign, a gold leaf palimpsest of sacred bars, a grave's world symbol chiseled out of life. His brow, her brow, a copy of clear, unstained heavens. It is described regarding Savitri. So we can find out in beautiful terms. Her long eyes, shadowed as by wings of night, under that moon gold forehead's dreaming breath. While already we have discussed while reading Savitri, the description on Savitri we can find in most of the places, the quotation or representation, everything will be represented, or this word will be used, that is gold, golden, like this. A deathless meaning filled her mortal limbs. Deathless meaning filled her mortal limbs. Then, actually, again, as in a golden verse, poignant line, they seemed to carry the rhythmic sob of bliss. Again, we go into the deep little bit. In matter, then actually we can feel Immortal met immortal in their gates, awakened from the close spell of daily use that hides self-truth with the outward form's disguise. Then, towards the end, we can see the great and unknown spirit born as a child, that he saw through the familiar cherished limbs. He saw through the familiar cherished limbs the great and unknown spirit born her child. Then we can go, we can hire the casual passing phrase that can change our life. So we can hear later, after listening the great inspiring word, we can find how Asopati is actually trying to pursue, to inspire the great child of him. O Spirit, traveler of eternity, who camest from the immortal spaces here, who camest from the immortal spaces here, then here in the course here. A mighty presence still defends thy frame. A mighty presence still defends thy frame. Perhaps the heaven guard thee for some great soul. Perhaps the heavens guard thee for some great soul. Thy fate, thy work are kept somewhere afar. Thy fate, thy work are kept somewhere afar. Thy spirit came not down a star alone. There is something else, somebody else. O living inscription of the beauty of love, misled in aureate virginity, what message of heavenly strength and bliss in thee is written with the eternal sun white script? Just to imagine how the glorious description has been given, how the dear Ravindas, just imagine how the wordings are even used. O rubies of silence, lips from which they are stole low laughter, music of tranquility. Star lustrous eyes awake in sweet large night. Just imagine, light, large night, sweet large night, star lustrous eyes awake. And limbs like fine linked poems made of gold. Again, the description of gold you can find. Limbs like fine linked poems made of gold. Then depart where love and destiny call your charm. Depart where love and destiny call your charm. Venture through the deep world to find thy mate. For somewhere on the longing breast of earth, thy unknown lover waits for thee in the unknown. That is the topic of discussion, where really inspiring words of Satya Asapati is inspiring the golden child to move and venture into and find. For somewhere on the longing breast of earth, thy unknown lover waits for thee in the unknown. Thy soul has strength and needs no other guide. The one who burns within thy bosom's powers, there shall draw near to meet thy approaching steps. The second self for whom thy nature asks, he who shall walk until thy body's ends. He who shall walk until thy body's ends, a close-bound traveller pacing with thy pace. Just imagine how the unknown lover will be anticipated. Unknown lover should be. So the lyrist of thy soul's most intimate chords, who shall give voice to what in thee is mute. What in thee is mute, that will be given the lyrist of thy soul's most intimate chords, who shall give voice to what in thee is mute. Then shall you grow like the vibrant kindred harps, one in the beats of difference and delight. Then you can find letter. One force shall be your mover and your guide. One force shall be your mover and your guide. One light shall be around you and within. Hand in strong hand confront heaven's question, comma, light. Hand in strong hand confront heaven's question, life. Challenge the ordeal of the immense disguise. Then ascend from nature to divinity's heights. Ascend from nature to divinity's heights. Face the high gods crowned with felicity. Then meet a greater God, thyself beyond time. Just imagine how the great inspiring voices voiced by Asapati, and it is your Rabindra's original writings. We'll find a few lines here, then we can see how the mantra really works. Again, we can find here, O Spirit, that is what we are going to summarize. O Spirit, traveler of eternity, thou hast come for a mighty work, not for the ordinary work, roti, kapada, makan, nothing like this. Thou hast come for a mighty work. Thou art not come down alone. There waits for thee some destined soul who shall discover thy mission and thy strength. Somebody who is waiting, he shall discover thy mission and thy strength. Depart and find him, thy mate. Thou needst not any other guide. Thou needst not any beautiful things. Thou needst not any other guide than the one who is aflame within thee. He who is to be thy partner and companion in the journey of life. He who is to be thy partner and companion in the journey of life waits for thee. With him thou shalt confront heaven's question life. With thee thou shalt confront heaven's question life, break through the immense disguise of nature and ascend to divinity's heights. So these words sinking into her being like the mantra. So we can see different types of mantra. We'll read right now how this mantra is working inside us, what is the process of mantra, and how the common steps of working we'll see little later. So these words sink into her being with like a mantra, and the seed of change is sown with this mantra. These words seem to be mantras, and once it is sinking inside, so the seed of it is the seed of change is sown with this mantra. She awakes in her consciousness to a new dimension. Awakes in her consciousness to a new dimension, and the secrets of unseen realms are felt close. So we'll read the really how the mantra really works, and this is the really this mantra has been recited by Asapati to his before his dearest daughter, the heaven guarded child Savitri. So we'll read how this mantra is working. As when, serum the quotes, the words repeats itself, serum the quotes how it is actually working. As when the mantra sings in yoga's ear, not in the ordinary cell. As when the mantra sings in the yoga's ear, its message enters, trying the blind brain, and keeps in the dim, ignorant cells in its sound. The mantra from top, it is actually descending up to bottom inside the yoga's ear, yoga's body. The hearer understands a form of words. The hearer means who is conscious, understands a form of words and musing on the index thought it holds. He strives to read it with the laboring mind. Strive to read it with the laboring mind, but finds bright hints, not the embodied truth. Then, falling silent in himself to know, he meets the deepest listening of his soul. Deepest listening of his soul he meets. The words repeats itself in rhythmic strains. Thought, vision, feeling, sense, the body's self are seized. Thought, vision, feeling, sense, the body's self is seized unutterably, and he endures an ecstasy and an immortal change. Everything outwardly, it is everything is seized, and he feels unutterably, and he endures an ecstasy and an immortal change. He feels a wideness and becomes a power. All knowledge rushes on him like a sea. So he walks in naked heavens of joy and calm, and sees the God face and hears transcendent speech. An equal greatness in her life was shown. Accustomed scenes were now an ended plain. So the he is after his accustomed we have already seen accustomed scenes were now an ended plane, moving in music and familiar powers, touched by new magnitudes and fairy scenes. She turned to vastnesses not at her own, because she has a dream to fulfill. She has mission and she has vision. She has to everything she has to fulfill. Then what is the how the change scenario is coming? The morn went up into a smiling sky. The morn went up into a smiling sky, Day sank into the burning gold of eve. The moon floated, a luminous wave through heaven, and sank below the oblivious edge of dream, because she has to depart. The mantra has just sunk inside her. She is now changed. Now she has to start with the mission. Her work, her divine unfinished work has to start, and she has to come out, come ahead, come forward, and move into this glorious enchanted world, and with the only guide that is soul within. Night lit the watchfires of eternity. Then all went back into mind's secret caves. A darkness, stooping on the heaven bird's wings, sealed in her senses from external sight and opened the splendorous depths of sleep. So things are changing. She is going deep inside. Time is lapsing. Everything is prepared. A new beginning and dawn, a new dawn is awaited. When the pale dawn, after the night when the pale dawn slipped through night's shadowy guard, vainly the newborn light desired her face because she has gone. Vainly the newborn light desired her face, the palace yoked to its own emptiness. With the divine life is bliss, without the divine life is a painful illusion. Because she is gone, everything is packed with emptiness. The sovereign of its daily joys was far. Sovereignty is gone. Her moonbeam feet tinged not the lucent floors. The beauty and the divinity were gone. Both her moonbeam feet tinged not the lucent floors. The beauty and the divinity were gone. Delight had fled to search the spacious world. The great description we can find. So, after Ashwapati hears the voice, then the glorious, inspiring words mantra is coming out from his face. For the it has been only for his divine child. He knows she is not the ordinary one. Her vision is something different. So after listening it, she has left. This mantra is working. She is getting back the original mission. She is well aware of the original mission, awaking to her lost self. And before the morn comes, and the environment, the palace finds everything is empty. She has lost. Then we can find before the dawn of the next day, Savitri leaves on her quest. That big quest is going to be quested by the divine child. So this is the scenario. This is the real time, and a great change has to be accomplished. And this done. It is coming with everything new. But thing is that palace is receding into the emptiness, high emptiness. Inconscient is found. So last three lines we can read it repeatedly. We will try to repeat it again. Her moonbeam feet tinged not the lucent floors. The beauty and the divinity were gone. Delight had fled to search the spacious world. Vande Matram.